Oh my, you just caught me canoodling with myself. That's right, I'm playing Canoodle because it's Educational Insights Week. All week long, we're gonna be hosting videos provided to us by Educational Insights. We're gonna play some Educational Insights games like Canoodle, Brain Bolt, Pancake Pile Up, Real Big Catch. And I thought we could start the whole thing off with an interview with the creative director, Lee Parkhurst. He was an absolute pleasure to talk to. Let's check it out. All right, and here we are with Lee Parkhurst. So thank you very much, Lee, for sitting down with us.
My pleasure.
So what is your title with Educational Insights?
Sure. I can't explain to you, I want to say I'm like the chief fun officer. That's what they call me internally, but I'm officially the brand manager for Educational Insights. So I oversee all of our properties. I help our product development team figure out what they want to make. I get to help name the games, and then obviously we get to market the game. So I love my job. It's super fun.
Sounds good. Okay, well then let's start, very bird's eye view, high level. Tell us, what is Educational Insights?
Yeah, so Educational Insights, I mean, the name is in the name, right? We are an educational toy and game company, and we've actually been doing it since the 60s. The company was actually founded by parents, mom and a dad. He was an electrical engineer and she was a teacher, and they wanted to help their son learn to read. He was struggling with reading, so they developed products, and then that became the company. And it's funny because it's still exactly what we do, is try to develop products that teach kids and adults now really critical skills for development, socialization, and beyond. So we're always about fun first, but in every single game we do, from Sneaky Snacky Squirrel to Canoodle, there's always an element of learning baked in.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm looking over a lot of the titles, and you can see that is very clearly a staple to your games, is that they look like a lot of fun, but they all absolutely have an educational bent to all of them, which I think is fantastic.
And what's funny too is I always like to remind people, we create preschool games that are really famous, right? Like we got a Toy of the Year nomination for a game called Real Big Catch, which is all about fishing and measuring. But these are games that, we talk about multi-generational games, of games that you don't want to jump off of a cliff after playing them for 5 minutes with a 3-year-old, right? I think that's what we do at Educational Insights really well, is making these games simple to understand, super fun, whether you're 3 or 33 or 103, and make it so literally you could lose to your 5-year-old. That is absolutely possible. So it's engaging in that way. We make them sweet. They're awesome, super fun. And obviously always have that little bit of learning baked into it, but in a way that, we like to have a little fruit punch with the vegetables.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's not overbearingly educational. It's overbearingly fun. And then when you finish it, you're like, wait a minute, I think I learned something there.
I learned a thing. Exactly. Yeah, it's super cool.
That's great. Okay, so you went into the history about it a bit, started in the 60s and everything. What's it looking like now? What are some of the big games that you guys have been putting out in the most recent years?
Yeah, so I think from our preschool, I'll kind of age up, right? From our preschool realm, I mean, Sneaky Snacky Squirrel is almost 15 years old and continues to be a #1 bestseller. So that's an awesome game. It's really sweet. You're collecting acorns and matching colors. So again, there's that learning built in, but it's super silly and really fun and sweet. Real Big Catch, as I mentioned, that fishing game is now a Toy of the Year nominee, which is really exciting. Got a lot of love this year. That's becoming a fast favorite. We actually have a couple of really cool preschool games that are like relay racing, where you have to do follow the order card. There's a game called Pancake Pile Up, where you have to stack the pancakes in order of blueberry, chocolate, right? Put the butter on top, all these directional color matching, again, fun little games that we have. Teacup Pile Up, based on that same game, is very similar. But what's cool about those two games too, and this is something that we always try to include, is the the pieces that come in the game, say with like teacup pile up, like once you're done playing the game, you have everything you need for a proper tea party. So like Joe, we could totally like have a little tea party after we play teacup pile up. It's super fun. In the realm of family games, we've got a really great one that I actually want to challenge you to. It's called Dice of Fury. And it's an all-play dice game that is for 7+. And you're trying to match your 6 dice to the card that's played. Say, for instance, I play a card of your colored dice need to be all 5s and your white dice need to be all 1s. Like, it's this frantic, you're constantly rolling, trying to match the stuff. And there's that element of math baked in, right? Absolutely. So there's that learning element. And then we get into our brain games category, which, I mean, I'm even wearing the shirt. I've got the hat on today. Canoodle is absolutely viral across the realms of TikTok. This has been for the last couple of years. It's a 17-year-old game line. There are now 12 Canoodles in the line, so there's lots of ways to play Canoodle. But the Canoodle OG, the original game, is what we call it. It's been around now for 17 years and is absolutely an awesome, fun game. I actually have mine right here. I was actually going to challenge you to one later, Joe, but they got all sorts of really cool challenges right now on TikTok. People are doing the shake challenge where you take one of the pieces, put it in the case, shake it up, and you have to play it as it lies. People are timing themselves. So we actually listened to the community, and we actually had our fans on TikTok tell us what the next Canoodle could be. So we actually did some crowdsourcing with our fans, and we're releasing it in January. It's called Canoodle Ultimate Champion. It's got baked-in electronics and a timer, so you can really get hard on the Canoodle challenge, which is really exciting. So that's a really fun way to play with educational insights through the Canoodle world. And then in the brain games realm too, we've got a couple of handheld electronic games. There's one that's super popular called Brain Bolt. And what's really cool about this, Joe, is, you know, we talked about preschool, we talked about family games, and then, you know, on packaging when they'll say like from 7 to 107. It's like a cheeky marketing speak to say like to be funny, right? Yeah, exactly. But it's so funny with Brain Bolt, we started reading the reviews and people like ourselves, like we're buying it for our kids, right? And then they're like, hey, wait a minute, this game is like super addictive and really good for my brain. Parents were taking it back from their kids, playing it themselves, traveling with it. You know, you could put it on mute, just, you know, it's like Simon on steroids, right? It's like a really cool light up matching game. And then the adults were reading through the reviews, were like really doing a social listening exercise with Brain Bolt and realized that the adults had then stole it from their kids, were passing it on to the grandparents and saying, hey, this game is really good for your brain. This is a brain exercise. It's it has that therapeutic element to it, that socialization, like you're bringing joy into seniors' lives too, because we can all use extra joy, Joe. So the fact that now we say 7 to 107 and like we're actually getting like octogenarians like playing this game now. So that idea of multi-generational play has absolutely just taken off for brand educational insights in such a groovy way. So from our preschool games to our family games to our brain games, like we're really developing stuff that like everyone in the family can enjoy, which is awesome, right? I think bringing people together through gameplay, I know it's something that you guys do so well, and that we're really putting some steam behind as far as what we're developing.
That's fantastic. So, okay, walk me through the process of how you guys develop a game, because, I mean, as you just pointed out, you guys have a pretty wide-spanning array of games. So what does it look like? How do you decide what you're going to go for?
It's really fun, actually. And I will say our team is really invested in the inventor community. Game inventors and game designers from around the world pitch us on their concepts. And obviously we have, you know, particular riverbranks as a brand where there's got to be an element of learning to all of our games. But other than that, like the world is our oyster. So it's actually really cool. There's it's a little Shark Tanky almost, where we look at an array, a selection of games, and we play them again, we get our friends and family to play them. Like play testing is really a big part of how we make selections internally, which is honestly like the best part of the job, because then you get to like test all these incredible ideas. And I will say, like, we only take a small fraction of what we see just because we can only release so many titles every year. But it's so exciting to see what comes in from the inventor community. Obviously, we have our own product development team in-house. There are little, Santa's workshop elves that are constantly creating, developing our lines like Canoodle, beyond the original and stuff. So it's really exciting. And I will say, like, at Educational Insights, we're a smaller team. We're based in California, and it's the marketing team, the development team, and the creative team. So it's just like all of us working, like 30 of us working together, testing these games, playing, see what sticks, see what's sticky, right? Like, what is it about this game that makes you want to play it again? And I think that's, for me, is like always my biggest litmus test of like, could I figure it out easily? Is it super fun? And do I want to play it again? Like, those are my big, like, qualifiers for a game.
If it hits all three, that's when you know.
That's when we know we got a winner. Exactly. It's like, you want that repeat game value, right? And we have some games, Joe, I will tell you, they are super addictive and like, I can't stop. And we've got some new titles coming out that are just like, take that idea and blow it out of the water, that we're really excited.
Awesome. Okay, so then I'm curious, with like your in-house, or even with when you have inventors pitching to you, are you ever like, man, we really need to improve like our math game line, so let's design specifically a game for are there ever any moments where you really want to push one specific learning topic, and that's how you design, how you come up with the game?
No, absolutely. So that's like data-driven insights, right? And thinking about where the learning is lacking. We try to find insights into where do people need help. And right now, a big part of that is brain health. People are very interested in brain health. We all should be. For the most part, all have a brain and should be exercising it, right? Whether we're 7 or 107.
Absolutely.
And then additionally, I think what's interesting is looking at, from an academic perspective, like reading, for instance, continues to suffer for kids in all grades and stages. So we're actually investing in more word games. And like you said, math also is a serious subject that people continue to need help with. So how can we develop games that are fun and engaging and are adding to vocabulary, to, CVC words, to color matching, to all these little simple things that end up being into math or reading in our fun way that we can, that we can only do it at Educational Insights, which is a really, like you're saying, like using those data insights to help us steer the ship into which realm we focus on for our games, is absolutely, like, if we're doing a good job, we're listening to the world around us and trying to figure out, like, where do we need to lean in. And I'm excited for our new release of 2024 items really do speak to that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited to see
I know.
them.
I can't wait to share them with you soon. So yeah, it's like Canoodle, Ultimate Champion, Brain Bolt Boost, which is a more like fast push button game version of Brain Bolt. We've got a game called Worgency coming out. That's really awesome. That's a vocab game. So yeah, just the fun continues over here.
Fantastic. Okay. So then let's talk about you for a moment, Lee. How long have you been with the company?
I've been with Educational Insights for almost 8 years now.
Wow. Okay. So
Did you, like, how did you
get mixed up in this whole thing? Were you,
right. I will say, the toy industry found me. I come from the tech world, strangely enough, and ended up getting into toys based on, social media and marketing that I was doing in the tech world. And gosh, about 15 years ago, I started working with Cabbage Patch Kids, Bandai, Tamagotchi, that kind of products for some bigger players, and absolutely fell in love with the toy industry. It's the best industry in the whole world. And I'm a kid at heart anyway, so it just makes total sense. I'm a very
it just works.
Very silly person, and it's a silly industry full of creative, cool weirdos like me, and it's just awesome. I love the toy industry. And games specifically, I will say, like, I've been so lucky to meet so many great minds in the game world that have just developed some of my favorite, like meeting the lady who invented Jenga, like, Tim
Wow,
Walsh, who's just like, and the incredible players in the game industry are now like in my Rolodex, in my field, and are my peers now, which is really exciting. So, and same with you, right? Like what you guys are doing over there is just incredible. I'm such a big fan, and I think we need to play together soon. I think that's the next step. Is we need to play. We need to play a game together.
Can we do? I mean, you're a tech guy. Can we play some of these online over here, or are you coming to Kansas City, or am I coming to California?
Maybe you got to come to LA, right?
I mean, I wouldn't be against it.
I could eat some Kansas City barbecue though. That sounds delicious.
Yeah, man. Taylor Swift's putting us on the map finally. So
thank you, Taylor.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Okay, so you told me this earlier, but I want to ask so that everyone hears. What's the game that got you into board games? What was the one that did it for you?
Okay, now
now the cameras are
haters.
rolling.
I know, right? Disclaimer for the haters, but I love Monopoly. I've always loved Monopoly. I don't know if I was just born a tiny capitalist or whatever it is, but there's something about games that you can make money with. And that kind of plays into loving Sims, Roller Coaster Tycoon, like all that kind of stuff. But it all really does come from Monopoly. And I think, and I'm sure you have these treasured memories, right, with family. Oh, yeah. I would spend 3 weeks at my grandparents' house every year as a kid, and every year my grandma and I would have like this week-long game going of Monopoly, and she was brutal, dude. She was relentless. She taught me negotiations. She taught me like sheer will and like cleverness through this game, and I always have love for it. And yeah, I think I was sharing. I have 17 Monopoly titles currently at my house, which is a lot of Monopoly. And if anybody wants to play with me, please play Monopoly with me, because nobody in my friend group will play Monopoly with me anymore. I'm too hardcore. I'm too into it.
You're gonna stick it through. You're not gonna throw the board up like
no, I won't.
Like
and I
90%.
will say one of the versions I have is Monopoly Deal, which is the card deck version of Monopoly. Okay. And I promise everybody, I'm like, we can get through a game in 30 minutes tops. So it's like, it's Monopoly Light, which I highly recommend. It's a good one.
Absolutely. That's great. Okay, so in your 8 years with Educational Insights, what's the thing that you're most proud of in those 8 years?
Gosh, I will say, I think being recognized as a real player, like we're a small company, right? We're a smaller line. We're not the Mattel or the Hasbros or, the Rubik's Cubes of the world. But to see a property like Canoodle, not just stay alive and thrive for 17 years, but like become number 2 underneath Rubik's Cube right now, which is just awesome for us. It's introduced, I think, a lot of people to our brand and the rest of our titles as well. So it's been a really great gateway for players in the world to take a brain break and just have fun with Canoodle. I think has just been so awesome. What a wonderful experience. I think the things that we've done across TikTok and trying to build the momentum there, like, check your FYP. I'm telling you, everybody is seeing this in their FYP right now.
I've seen it multiple times.
It's wild.
I've seen lives of it. Yeah.
It's wild. It's honestly a dream come true when you have a property and a game that people get and they love, and they're doing the work for you. Not the work, but like they're helping spread the word for us.
They're promoting it, they're marketing it, and it has nothing to do with you guys.
That's why I love the game community. Yeah, the game community is wonderful that way. When we hook into something that we love, we let people know, and we're so grateful to our Canoodle fans and everybody that's helped propel this, and you guys included. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for making such great products. It makes it easier to enjoy it, for the world.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, then I won't take up too much more of your time, but what's the future look like for Educational Insights?
I think the future is multi-generational.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see more people playing together as families, more properties that cross the age barriers. And it's my goal to build up what we're calling eldertainment of like, how can we bring seniors into the realm of gaming? We've got kids, we've got tweens, we've got kidults like you and me, but I think bringing in the older generation into gameplay has a lot of potential, not just for fun, but for healing and brain strength and all sorts of family good times. So I think multi-generational gameplay is going to be the trend of the future for sure.
I like that. I like
I'm
that.
using my crystal ball, like I'm looking into the future, but that's my prediction.
Well, now you got my brain working, and now I want to sit down with my 7-year-old and my 73-year-old father and get us doing something, the three of us playing a game.
That's
what
awesome.
would you recommend? All right, what would you recommend from your educational insights line for a 7-year-old, a 37-year-old, and a 72-year-old? Lots of sevens in there.
I've got 3 things.
Okay.
Dice of Fury.
Dice of
Number
Fury.
1, that all play dice game, amazing.
Perfect.
Canoodle, I think you can pass it around and challenge each other on different challenges and puzzles. And
awesome.
Brain Bolt. That is the memory light up matching game that you can literally pass around, play 2-player. And I think it would challenge all of you in awesome ways. So yes, give it a try.
Perfect. That's what we're gonna do then. And if it doesn't work out, it's only on you. You're the only one who can
I'll take the blame, 100%.
Perfect.
Satisfaction guaranteed, Joe.
There we go. All right, Lee. Well, thank you so much. It has been an absolute pleasure chatting with you, and I gotta say, I love the products. So thank you very much, and keep cranking them out. Keep cranking them out.
Thank you so much, Joe. It's been a pleasure. Game on.
Game on.
Did you like that video? Why don't you give it a like? Maybe head on down to the comments and tell us what you liked about it. Ooh, better yet, you can click this button right here to subscribe. Or maybe you want to check out some more of our videos with this button. And if those buttons have been disabled in the future and I'm just kind of doing this randomly, just use your imagination. Okay, bye, love you.